The little village was quiet beneath the glow of the evening sky. Lanterns flickered in windows, casting warm golden light across cobblestone streets, and the rooftops sparkled faintly with dew. High above, the stars had begun to twinkle one by one, filling the sky with their sleepy shimmer. Tucked inside a cozy burrow at the edge of the village, a small mouse named Max peeked out, his whiskers twitching with curiosity. Max was a gentle little mouse with soft gray fur and bright round eyes that always seemed to catch the smallest glimmers of light. He loved watching the sky, and every evening he would sit just outside his burrow, his paws folded neatly, as he looked up at the stars. To him, they were like tiny friends, winking back as if they knew his name. But tonight felt different. As Max settled on the soft grass and tilted his head upward, he noticed something strange. One of the stars wasn't twinkling with the others. It was falling, slowly, gracefully, like a glowing feather drifting from the sky. His eyes grew wide as the star shimmered brighter, then dimmer, as though it was searching for a place to rest. Max rose onto his hind paws, his heart fluttering with excitement. He had never seen a star fall before. It drifted lower and lower, leaving a silver trail across the night until, with a soft flash, it disappeared behind the hill just beyond the meadow. The glow lingered faintly, pulsing like a hidden lantern waiting to be found. The little mouse's tail curled with anticipation. "A star," he whispered softly, his tiny voice carried by the breeze. "A real star has come down to visit." He knew he couldn't stay still, not tonight. Wrapping his small scarf around his neck, Max stepped into the meadow, the grass cool against his paws. Fireflies blinked gently above the flowers, guiding his way as though they, too, wanted him to follow. The air was filled with the faintest hum of crickets, steady and soothing, as Max began his quiet journey toward the hill. His tiny heart thumped softly, not with fear but with wonder. He didn't know what he might find waiting, but he knew it would be something magical. And so, with the stars watching from above, Max set out into the night to find the fallen star. Max trotted softly through the meadow, the grass swaying around him like a gentle sea. His little paws pressed into the damp earth, leaving tiny prints that glistened in the moonlight. Above, the sky stretched wide and endless, the stars twinkling as though they were watching his every step. The glow he had seen earlier still shimmered faintly beyond the hill, a quiet beacon waiting for him. As he padded along, Max's ears caught the sound of soft fluttering wings. He paused, his whiskers twitching, and glanced toward a patch of tall daisies swaying in the night breeze. From behind the blossoms, a gentle moth appeared, its wings pale as silver, decorated with spots that looked just like tiny stars. It circled Max once before hovering at his eye level, its glow faint but steady. "Where are you going, little mouse?" the moth asked, its voice a whisper as delicate as silk. Max's eyes brightened. "I saw a star fall. It landed just beyond the hill. I have to find it." The moth tilted its wings thoughtfully. "Stars rarely come down, but when they do, they choose carefully. Perhaps it wanted you to see it." Max's heart gave a small flutter of joy. "Then I mustn't keep it waiting." The moth smiled in its quiet way and drifted ahead. "Come, I will guide you part of the way. The night is wide, but no journey is lonely when you have light." Together, Max and the moth crossed the meadow. Fireflies blinked lazily around them, as though nodding in agreement with the moth's words. The grass brushed against Max's fur, carrying the soft scent of clover and wildflowers. The air grew cooler as they reached the base of the hill, where the shadows stretched long and silver under the moonlight. The path upward was gentle but winding. Pebbles crunched beneath Max's paws, and the moth floated close, its wings lighting the stones just enough to see. Along the way, they passed a small stream trickling down the slope, its water catching the moon's glow and scattering it like glitter. Max stopped to watch the ripples, his eyes wide. "Even the water looks like it holds stars," he whispered. The moth nodded softly. "The earth always tries to remind us of the sky. Look closely, and you'll find the heavens reflected everywhere." Max felt a warmth inside him at those words. He bent down and lapped at the cool water, its taste refreshing and sweet, before continuing his climb. Halfway up the hill, they heard another sound, gentle, slow steps on the grass. From behind a bush appeared a kind old tortoise, his shell patterned with swirls that glistened faintly under the starlight. He carried no lantern, but his eyes shone with wisdom as he looked down at Max. "Ah," the tortoise said in a voice deep and calm, "I see you're following the glow. Many pass this hill, but few notice the star beyond it." Max lowered his ears respectfully. "It called to me. I think it wants me to find it. The tortoise's mouth curved into a slow smile. Then climb steady, little one. Stars are patient, but so is the hill. If you rush, you might miss the wonders waiting along the way. Max nodded eagerly. I'll remember. The moth and the tortoise shared a knowing glance, as though they both understood something Max had yet to learn. With a gentle hum, the moth continued ahead, and Max followed, his heart filled with quiet determination. The hill rose higher now, but the glow at its top was brighter too, spilling over the crest like the edge of dawn. Max's paws tingled with anticipation, his little heart drumming with wonder. The moth hovered close, whispering softly, "Almost there, little mouse." Almost there. And with that, Max climbed higher, every step carrying him closer to the fallen star that waited just beyond the hill. Max's tiny paws pressed carefully into the earth as he climbed higher and higher, his whiskers brushing against tall grass that shimmered faintly under the moonlight. The moth fluttered just ahead, its silver wings scattering a trail of soft glow to guide his way. The tortoise's words echoed gently in his mind, "Don't rush, or you'll miss the wonders waiting along the way." So Max slowed his steps, letting his eyes wander as he climbed. Halfway up, he paused to catch his breath and looked around. From this height, he could see the whole meadow stretched out behind him, blanketed in silver light. Fireflies floated like tiny lanterns, and the little stream sparkled as if someone had poured stars into it. Max's heart swelled with wonder. "It's like the world itself is dreaming," he whispered softly. The moth landed briefly on his ear and murmured, "The world always dreams with us. That is why the stars fall sometimes, to remind us of the magic that is already here." Encouraged, Max continued, his steps steadier now. The glow at the top of the hill grew brighter, no longer just a flicker but a steady, golden light that spilled down the slope like a trail of warmth. His nose twitched, he could smell something sweet in the air, like honey mixed with the faint scent of rain. Finally, Max reached the crest of the hill. His heart thumped faster, and his breath caught in his throat. There, nestled in the soft grass, lay the star. It was smaller than he expected, no bigger than the apple cores he sometimes found near the village, but it shone with a light unlike anything he had ever seen. It wasn't harsh or blinding, it glowed gently, pulsing in and out, as though it had a heartbeat of its own. The grass around it glimmered faintly, each blade tipped with silver where the star's light touched it. Max stepped closer on quiet paws, his eyes wide, his tail curling behind him. "Oh," he breathed, his voice filled with awe. "You're beautiful." The star flickered gently, as if answering him. Then, to Max's amazement, a tiny voice rose from its glow. It was soft, musical, like the sound of wind chimes swaying in a breeze. "Hello, little mouse." Max froze, his whiskers trembling. "You can talk?" "Yes," the star replied, its light pulsing warmly. "I can speak to those who notice me, to those who still believe that dreams live even in the smallest hearts." Max's ears perked, his chest swelling with both wonder and shyness. I saw you fall. I wanted to find you." "Are you hurt?" The star flickered brighter, like laughter turned into light. "No, little one. I did not fall by accident. I came down because sometimes, stars must rest. And sometimes, they choose to rest where they are needed most." Max blinked, his tiny paws curling in the grass. "Needed? By me?" The star's glow dimmed, then brightened again, as though nodding. "Yes. You saw me fall when many others did not. You listened to the night. And so I came to remind you. Even the smallest creature can carry the light of the sky inside them." Max's eyes shimmered as he whispered, "Me? Carry the light of the sky?" The star pulsed gently. "Yes, you have always carried it. But sometimes, even stars must remind the earth of its glow." The moth fluttered closer, landing beside Max. "Do you see now, little one? Stars do not just shine above us. They shine through us." Max's heart felt warm, almost glowing itself. He sat down carefully, tucking his paws under him, and just watched the star breathe with light. The world felt so still, so safe, as though everything was wrapped in the star's glow. For a long moment, Max said nothing. He only let the star's warmth soak into him, filling the quiet spaces in his heart. Then, softly, he whispered, "Thank you for coming down. I think I'll never forget this night." The star pulsed again, steady and kind, and Max felt certain it was smiling. Max sat in the grass, his tiny paws curled close as the fallen star glowed beside him. Its light wrapped around him like a soft blanket, warm and steady, reaching into the quietest corners of the night. The moth rested on his shoulder, its silver wings folded neatly, while the breeze hushed through the meadow as though it, too, wanted to listen. The little mouse tilted his head, his whiskers twitching. "You said I carry the light of the sky inside me, but I don't understand. I'm just small. Smaller than the flowers, smaller than the trees, smaller than almost everything here." The star pulsed gently, its voice like a soft chime. "Even the smallest things can hold the greatest light, Max. Dreams, kindness, courage, these live inside the smallest hearts. You saw me fall when others did not. That is proof you already shine." Max's ears perked, and his chest warmed, though he still whispered, "But how can I shine like a star? Stars live so high above. They seem so far away." The moth lifted its wings, sprinkling faint dust that shimmered like tiny constellations. "Light doesn't need to be far away to matter. You shine whenever you notice, whenever you care, whenever you carry gentleness with you." Max's tail curled tightly, and for the first time, he felt a little glow stir inside his chest, small but steady, like an ember waiting to grow. He looked back at the star, who now seemed softer, dimmer. Its glow was beautiful, but Max noticed it flickered in a way that felt tired. "Are you okay?" Max asked quickly, his little voice filled with worry. The star's glow wavered and then steadied. "I am only resting, but soon I must return to the sky. The other stars wait for me, and the night will need my light again." Max's paws pressed into the grass. "Then, how will you get back? You're so small now. You can't fly that far alone." The star flickered, almost like a nod. "That is why I need help. You, Max, can carry me. Not on your back, but in your heart. If you walk with me to the highest place, where the earth meets the sky, I will find my way home again." Max's eyes widened. "Me? Carry you back to the sky?" "Yes," the star chimed. "Not because you are the biggest or the strongest, but because you are the one who listened, who saw, who cared enough to follow. That is what makes you bright." The moth leaned close, whispering into Max's ear. "Do you feel it? That glow inside you is your strength. Trust it, and you will help the star return." Max placed his tiny paw over his chest, feeling that quiet warmth inside him, the ember that flickered brighter now. He looked at the star with determination. "Then I'll do it. I'll help you find your way back." The star glowed brighter at his words, its light spilling across the hilltop like a gentle sunrise. The grass bent softly toward it, as though bowing, and the moth's wings sparkled like 1,000 tiny stars. The little mouse stood tall, his scarf fluttering in the night breeze. Though he was small, he no longer felt small inside. He felt steady, like he was part of the same sky that had sent the star down to him. "Tell me where to go," Max said quietly. "I'll carry you there." The star's voice was soft but certain. "To the highest hill beyond this meadow. There, the horizon touches the sky. From there, I will rise." Max looked across the field, where the silhouettes of distant hills shimmered under the moonlight. The journey looked far, but his paws didn't tremble. He nodded, curling his tail. "Then let's go." The lantern of fireflies returned, drifting in the distance as if they had been waiting to guide him. The moth lifted from his shoulder, circling once before gliding ahead, and the star floated close to his chest, its light flickering in rhythm with his heartbeat. Together, they began the slow journey across the meadow, the night around them hushed and full of wonder. Max stepped carefully into the meadow, his little paws brushing against the tall grass that swayed like a silver ocean under the stars. The fallen star floated close to his chest, glowing faintly in time with his heartbeat, while the moth glided gracefully just ahead, scattering star-like dust with every slow beat of its wing. Fireflies drifted in from the edges of the field, their tiny lanterns blinking as though they were forming a pathway for him to follow. The night was hushed, but it was not empty. Each sound was soft and reassuring, the gentle hum of crickets, the distant hoot of an owl, the rustle of leaves stirred by a cool breeze. Max felt as if the whole world was leaning close, guiding his steps toward the hill that rose in the distance. The journey was slow, but Max didn't mind. He stopped often, not to rest, but to notice. When a family of rabbits hopped quietly across his path, their fur glowing faintly under the star's light, he paused to watch them curl together in the grass, their tiny bodies breathing in rhythm. "Even in the dark," Max whispered, "they shine with their own kind of light." Further along, he came to a stream that cut through the meadow, its surface so still it looked like liquid glass. The star's glow reflected in the water, doubled and stretched into ripples that looked like a glowing ribbon. Max leaned down, his nose twitching. "It looks like the sky fell twice," he said softly. He lapped at the cool water, its taste crisp and sweet, and when he looked up, the star's glow seemed just a little stronger. The moth fluttered back to rest briefly on his shoulder. "Every kindness you notice, every small beauty you carry inside, makes the light within you brighter," it whispered. Max's whiskers twitched, and he pressed his paw to his chest where the glow thumped warmly. He felt proud, not in a loud way, but in a quiet, steady way, like a candle that doesn't waver. As they neared the base of the great hill, the grass grew shorter, and tiny flowers opened around their path. The blossoms were pale and delicate, and they swayed as though bowing toward the star. Each one glimmered faintly, adding to the glow that surrounded Max. He slowed his pace, running a paw gently across the petals. "It's like the meadow itself is helping us," he murmured. The climb was gentle but long. Max took it step by step, his paws pressing into the cool soil, his tail curling for balance. The star pulsed warmly near him, its voice like a lullaby. "Every step you take carries me closer. Do you see how your small paws leave marks on the earth? Even those marks glow for a moment before fading. That is your light, too." Max looked back and gasped softly. His paw prints, just for a moment, shimmered faintly before the grass swayed back over them. His heart filled with wonder. "I really am carrying you," he whispered, almost to himself. "Yes," the star replied gently, "and carrying me shows you the glow you already had." Higher and higher they climbed, until the air felt thinner, cooler, as though they were brushing against the edges of the sky. The moth circled above them, its wings glowing more brightly, scattering specks of starlight that drifted downward like snow. Fireflies surrounded them, blinking in slow harmony, their light weaving into the path. At last, Max reached the crest of the highest hill. His chest rose and fell with slow, steady breath. The world spread wide around him, the village below glowing faintly with its lanterns, the meadow shimmering silver, and above, the endless sky filled with stars. The fallen star hovered closer to him now, brighter than it had been all night. "Here," it whispered softly. "This is the place. From here, I can return." Max's tiny paws trembled as he looked up at the wide, endless sky. His heart was full, not heavy, not afraid, but so full of warmth it felt as though it, too, was glowing like a star. He had brought his friend home. The moth perched lightly on his shoulder, its wings folding in peace. "This is the moment, little mouse. The night has been waiting for it." Max gazed at the star, his eyes shining. "Will you come back?" he asked softly. The star pulsed gently, its light brushing against his fur. "Whenever you look up, you will find me. And now, because you carried me in your heart, you will see me more clearly than ever before." Max nodded slowly, his ears tipped back, his chest glowing with quiet pride. He took a step back, giving the star space. The star rose a little higher, flickering brighter as though readying itself to fly. The night seemed to hush even more, as if all the creatures and all the trees were watching in reverence. The star hovered just above Max's head, its glow swelling brighter with each quiet breath he took. The moth rested on his shoulder, wings folded like pages of a soft storybook, while the fireflies circled slowly around them, blinking in rhythm as though keeping time with the star's heartbeat. The crest of the hill glowed faintly beneath Max's paws, and all around them, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, with one final pulse of golden light, the star spoke. Its voice was softer than ever, but steady, like a promise. "Thank you, little mouse. Because you carried me in your heart, I can now carry myself back to the sky." Max's ears tilted back, and he pressed his tiny paws against his chest. "I'll miss you," he whispered. The star glowed brighter, brushing him in warm. "You won't have to. Each time you look up, you will see me. And when your eyes close in sleep, you will feel me glowing inside you. That light is yours now, too." Slowly, the star began to rise, first above Max, then higher, drifting into the wide, endless sky. Its glow shimmered brighter with every heartbeat, until it joined the other stars above, slipping perfectly into its place among them. For a moment, it pulsed once, twice, 3 times, brighter than the rest, as though waving to Max. Then it steadied, a twinkling companion among the thousands of other lights. The moth lifted from Max's shoulder and circled above him, leaving behind a faint trail of starlight that drifted down like silver snow. "You see, little mouse," it whispered, "dreams are never far. They live in the sky, they live in the world, and they live inside you." Max sat quietly on the crest of the hill, his scarf fluttering gently in the cool night breeze. His eyes shone as he gazed up at the star, now a part of the sky once more. His heart glowed warm and steady, filled with a sense of peace he had never known before. The fireflies drifted lower, forming a glowing crown above him before slowly scattering back into the meadow. The moth settled gently on his head one last time. "It is time to go home, Max. Your dreams will find you there." Max nodded sleepily, his paws heavy now, his tail curling close to his side. He made his way back down the hill, the grass brushing softly against him as if tucking him in with every step. The meadow below was hushed, the blossoms closing their petals for the night, and the stream rippled faintly, reflecting the star that had returned home. When Max reached his burrow at the edge of the village, he curled into his nest of soft moss and leaves. The scents of clover and starlight still clung to his fur, wrapping him in calm. He pulled his little scarf tighter and tucked his nose beneath his paws. Above, the stars twinkled brighter, the one he had carried glowing most of all. And as Max closed his eyes, his dreams came quickly, softly, like feathers drifting down. He dreamed of fireflies guiding him through glowing meadows, of the moth with constellation wings, and of the star's gentle warmth. He dreamed of being small, but shining bright, just as the star had told him. The night was still. The world was quiet, and Max, the little mouse, slept deeply, safe and loved, with the light of the sky glowing inside his heart. And in that hush, the night whispered to him and to every child listening, "You are safe. You are loved. You are glowing with light. You are ready for the sweetest dreams tonight." The stars twinkled softly. The moon lowered